we're going to keep trying to piece it together.
Other questions? Mark, we'll get you the microphone.
Hi, AJ. After the fifth inning, the stand up to cancer moment on a different topic. Number one, you held up a sign for Kevin Tower. Could you talk about your thoughts on that, why you did that, and also just the moment in general?
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously it's a moment that is special to all of our hearts, from the people that are on the card and also people around the country. And it's a great initiative that Major League Baseball has started years ago and will continue to be a way for us to bring awareness to people that suffer from cancer. In my particular instance, Kevin Towers, I've been in baseball a long time. He's been in baseball a long time. He means a lot to me. He means a lot to the people within the game for many, many years. He's done everything in the game. I wanted to put someone on there that was a baseball person that has resonated across the game at so many levels for so many years. And, we just keep rooting for KT to have a recovery.
Well said. Next question. In the back, we'll get you the microphone.
AJ may seem an easy target, but on Giles, how much of it mental, how much pressure? He's been scored on 6 to 7 outings in the postseason.
Obviously it builds in the postseason because there's so much attention on these outs. And, when you're a back-end reliever, oftentimes, unless you're extraordinarily dominant, you're only talked about when you suffer, when you struggle. So for him, he can handle it mentally, he can handle it physically. He'd been pretty good in that group. He hadn't faced those guys a ton, but they didn't have good swings against him in L.A. One ground ball base hit by Seager to start the inning, and things sort of sped up on him a little bit, the walk after that. So clearly he's trying to push through the adversity that he's had, but to be a back-end reliever, you got to live on that edge of not carrying too long of a memory because of things that can happen at the back of the game. But you have the ball in your hand at the most critical times because you have the best stuff, and he can get outs, and he's going to continue to get outs. But it's been a little rough for him.
We'll stay back there with Bob.
AJ, you just mentioned that the series is now at 2-2. We're coming up on a big Game 5. Can you talk about how even things are and how difficult it really was in retrospect to think about winning 3 in a row here?
Well, they're two pretty good teams. I mean, I don't think that's overstating anything. So it probably doesn't surprise a ton of people that it's at 2-2. How the games have gone and where we've won or where they've won, can always be debated. But these are big games. I think every game feels like a Game 5 or a Game 7 or a critical game. You don't ever roll into a game thinking that you can get away with losing it. So. Obviously it's a best of 3 now, and 2 of them will be at their place. One of them's going to be at our place. I never really thought about winning 3 in a row. I worried about winning today, and if we'd won today, then I would have been looking forward to winning it 3 in a row.
Take 3 more. Start with Tyler.
AJ, can you kind of explain what it's like for a manager to kind of balance what you see in a game versus maybe how you draw it up beforehand, specifically, I mean, in terms of pitching and when to pull the starting pitcher if it looks like he's going well, even though it's third time through?
Yeah, no, I mean, the context of the game is always, is always important. And we know our players, and we, obviously it's a result-oriented job for a lot of people. And for us, as managers, you do the best to try to line your players up and get to know your players, get to know their strength, get to know their breaking points, and it's always in your best interest to take the pitcher out of a hit or two early rather than a hit or two late. I mean, that's at least how I've gone about it, and I've always tried to give the reliever a little bit of a leash. I've always tried to give the starter a job well done when he walks off that mound. But the context of the game is always going to shift and change. You can draw it out perfectly and map it out because you never know how the other outcome would have been. It's easy to say everything you do when it goes wrong. Everybody in baseball thinks that the other way would have been perfectly good, and we don't know. And that's our jobs are criticized because of outcomes that we already know and outcomes that we assume.
On your left in the third row.
AJ, was there something different that their pitchers did tonight? Did you notice a different approach that they had to your lineup?
Well, Wood's different in general. He's got a different arm angle, different mechanics, and we hadn't seen him before or a ton. But it looked like he was teasing the strike zone a little bit. We were a little aggressive. He pitches very, very well down in the zone. He threw a couple high fastballs, but for the most part, he really settles bottom of the zone with pitches that move. He's got a little breaking ball, got a little change up. Keeps you honest with your fastball, or with his fastball. So I don't know. I think he pitched a well pitched game. I thought Morrow came in and threw well. Jansen came in, had a cushion, gave up 1 homer. But again, we're going into Game 5. There's not going to be a ton of secrets. Now we've seen Wood for the last time, unless he comes out of relief. But you're starting to enter a lot of at bats where the hitters and the pitchers have seen each other, and you make a few adjustments here and there. But we had 1 hit going into the 9th, so obviously they're pitching and done a good job.
We'll take a last question from Mark to your right.
AJ Springer obviously had the tough Game 1, had the big game the other night, home run tonight. What have you seen the last few games from him? And what is it about his personality that you think allows him to thrive?
Yeah, no, see, he's just been very disciplined in the strike zone, getting pitches to hit and doing a really good job of calming himself down and not trying to do much, and he's doing more by just letting the game come to him a little bit. I think success often relaxes guys, and the ball, you track the ball a little bit longer, you hit the ball to all fields, and he can do damage, any given at bat. His personality is upbeat. It was upbeat even when he was scuffling, especially behind the scenes. He frustrated on the field because he wants to do well for his teammates, but his approach, his demeanor, his attitude, his approach to life doesn't change.
Thanks, AJ. Yep. The Dodgers are